y'all, welcome to Scrappin with Sheri. Everyone who knows me knows that my husband and I love to travel, and many of these albums will attest to that. That's why I'm so excited about Creative Memories' launch in May that includes the 4 new travel paper packs and sticker sheets. Now, the names of them may be misleading, but the papers in them are absolutely beautiful. Over the next couple of weeks, you'll see videos that highlight papers from these collections. I hope you'll enjoy them. I hope you'll think of ways that are a little outside the box to use them and share that in the comments below. I appreciate all of you who have liked the videos, who have commented on the videos, and especially those of you who have subscribed. We really appreciate you coming back for more so we can keep making new videos to teach you new scrapbooking techniques. Until next time, happy scrapping. So let's take a look at these travel packs up close. I'm going to go through them kind of quickly, but I did discover that some of them are pretty generic in nature. Like this Florida Scenes, it's got the map of Florida, which is obviously pretty specific, but the back side of this, it has the state of Florida and the palm trees. You could easily cover that with a picture if you wanted to use this for something other than Florida. You could put a wide strip of a coordinating paper across there, but that one is pretty specific. This is so generic. I love the colors in that. This side again is pretty specific. It includes the names of different cities in Florida, but the back side of that is just beautiful. This side of this is a watery look. It almost looks like an alligator skin to me, which is kind of funny, but it's a bluish color. And then the back side of it is all these different shells, which I absolutely love. I think I'll be using this on some of my beach pages. Otherwise, this would be great for any place that you go shell hunting. The Florida stickers. Now, the paper is a 6-pack for $5. The sticker is a 1-sheet sticker pack, and it's only $3. The only things on here that are very specific are Florida, the Sunshine State, and the Keys. All of the rest of these would work for any beach vacation. So, some generic uses there for the Florida one. The Washington, D.C. one and the New York City one are a little more specific. On this sticker sheet, you've got the fireworks, which are great. You've got happy memories and museum time, a few stars, which are very generic. The rest of it is pretty much Washington, D.C. The paper pack, again, a 6-sheet paper pack for $5. Now, it has this red geometric, not geometric, it's got stars all over it. So, you've got the red stars. That would be good for the 4th of July. This blue on the back, it does have Washington, D.C. on it. But there again, you could cover it with a picture, cover it with a stripe of paper. There's a map here that I'm assuming is Washington, D.C., but the maps are great to me for any travel pages because you cover so much of it, you don't really know what the map is intended to be. This is pretty specific. It could be used for patriotic pages, but again, it's pretty specific in nature. The blue here is a beautiful blue, and it includes a lot of the different buildings around Washington, D.C., Now, this would not bother me to use on another museum page. Particularly, we went to see Lincoln's tomb a couple of months ago, and I could see myself using this for the Lincoln's tomb. This backside is very specific with the different places in Washington, D.C. So, actually, the Washington, D.C. is pretty specific. It could have some other uses, but not a lot. The New York City scenes, again, pretty specific. You've got the downtown area. There are very few stickers on here that I see that you could use otherwise. Probably these few right here and the I Love Bagels maybe, but the rest of them are pretty New York specific. Again, do you love that the coordinating cardstock is printed right on the paper packs now? So we have a map here that I think could work for a lot of different things. The backside, specific, you've got the New York City, you've got the Statue of Liberty. So yeah, it would be hard to use this for a lot of other things. You've got this blue that's got the Statue of Liberty and the skyline, but it's got this mustard color on the back, and it's just some Art Deco looking designs. that would be good for a lot of different travel places, I think. Even some of the Capitol buildings we visited, I think, could lend themselves to this. The words on here, very specific. Different places around New York City. I love this look of all the different postmarks, but again, very specific. And then the back side of this is very specific. It's places in New York City. So that one would be hard to use for a lot of different places. And the last one is the Great Lakes scenes. Now, this one's got several that would work for a lot of different places, and I like this. You've got the seagulls in the air. I was trying to see which ones are very, very specific. The UP and these right here are extremely specific. Otherwise, I think you could use them for a lot of different things. And the paper that goes with the Great Lakes scenes, I've already pulled it out because I want to do a layout for you using this. Love the paper colors in this. But you've got this map page again. But look at all this water. Cut that off or put a different color across the top of that. The back side of this is just little fish arranged in a little geometric pattern. That's really cute. So that one would be good to use generically. We've got the map again. This map is a little more specific, kind of harder to use. But look at the back of that. This is very reminiscent of Serene Waters, but we've got the lighthouse on this, which I think is just beautiful. And then we've also got this paper that's got lighthouses all over it. Now, I don't know if I've told you before, but my husband and I love to visit lighthouses. And I have a whole album that's just the lighthouses we visited. So I really like this piece of paper with all the different lighthouses on it. And the back side is the water. Now, these are the two pieces of paper I'm going to use for my layout today. Although I have a feeling you're going to see all these others used before too long as well. Now, if you've watched all of my videos, you know I'm big on cutting the paper apart, doing some welding, things like that. So what I'm going to do with these two papers, because this is way too busy for me, I'm going to put those together into my trimmer. And I'm looking at where I want to trim it off. I'd like to keep all of one set of the designs together. So I'm going to trim right above this little lighthouse right here. And that will keep all of one set of every design on the page. I hope that makes sense to you. I'm just going to trim those. And then I'm going to do a little welding with this. Now, my husband and I had the opportunity to see Lake Michigan when I went to an advisor retreat up in Illinois back in March. So we did take some pictures of that. And let's just pull a little piece of paper here, do a quick weld, because I'm not going to use any stickers on that scene right this minute. I may go back and add some, but for right now, we'll just weld with a piece of paper. Now, when we're welding with the paper, you turn it to the back side and just butt it all up together. Make sure your corners, your edges are straight. And you just run your tape runner across your seam. And then stick your little welding strip over the top of that. So that one is finished. It makes a huge difference when you take off a little bit of that pattern. That pattern is nice, but just extremely busy for me. Now, you could do some pretty heavy matting and cover a lot of the pattern up. But to me, this is a good way to do it, and you don't waste any paper. I personally don't like having paper scraps laying around. So I think that's the way I'm going to go with that for right now. Let's pull my pictures and just see what we've got going on. Now, this was a little lighthouse we walked out to, and then we saw this little thing that I don't even know if it's a lighthouse or not. I have not sorted these pictures yet, so you'll just have to forgive me as I play around with them. And it looks like I may have gotten double copies again. It seems like lately my developers are giving me double copies of a lot of things. I don't really know why. This picture has it actually has the city of Chicago way over here in the corner. And that was fun to us to be able to see Chicago way over there in the corner. And then as we were leaving the pier, this guy was throwing all of this food up, and the seagulls were coming in like crazy. So I do want to use that because I thought that was so much fun. And I've kind of got an idea brewing in my mind right there. So here's where we initially saw the little lighthouses from a distance. So I think I'm going to use that there. I think I'm going to use the seagulls here. That shows the distance right there, which I like. I think I'll do one up close instead of this one that's a little further away. And maybe do something like this. And I'll do my journaling here. So let's get my personal trimmer out. And I'm going to cut these pictures down just a little bit. And actually, in cutting them down, I may even be able to fit more on there, because that's always kind of my goal, is to fit more on a page. Now, when I'm looking at these, there's a lot of color going on in the background paper specifically. And then there are a good many colors that are in the pictures as well. So to me, I think a white matte would really make these stand out. And that's what I'm going to do. Let me show you something that I like to do with some of my leftover pieces of paper when I'm matting. And sometimes you have that one color that you've absolutely loved and you're running out of it and you just don't have enough to finish matting your pictures. Now, the white is not that way for me, but a lot of times I will butt up those leftover pieces, run my tape over the seam, and then put my tape on the four corners of my picture as usual, and then just cover up where I've put the tape on the seam, and then trim it just like I did before. That gives me extra use of those scraps, and then I'm not left with lots of little border strips that I have to stick back in my organization system. And you know, I'm almost thinking maybe I want to go this way with this. Yeah. All right, let's see if these little scraps are big enough to mat that picture. You know what? They're not quite, but if we trim that picture off just a touch, it'll work just perfectly. So I'm going to weld these two together again, just using my tape right there. And I know people wonder, well, can you not see where it's welded? If you look really, really hard, you could see that. But when I'm looking through my albums later, I can't specifically tell you where I've welded papers and where I haven't. So I don't feel like it's a great big deal, especially when you use a whole sheet of paper and all you're left with are these little scraps that you can throw away. I think that welding is a great option. And I need one more piece for that. So we'll pop that on there. So that gives us a 2-page spread already finished. Now, I do have to tape the pictures onto the papers, but one thing that I was thinking as I was doing this, specifically because we've got the man feeding the gulls here, is pulling this sticker strip and using it right along this seam right here, probably with some foam squares. But see all the seagulls on that? I think that would be a nice addition to that. So I'll finish this page. You'll see the completed page picture in the comments. But let me know what you think about this. Do you see yourself using this at all? I think this lighthouse paper is fantastic. And for my album that has all the lighthouses in it, this is a must for me. Now I've taped this down. I added my stickers. I added the seagull border across the top here using foam squares. I added Lake Michigan using a couple of small foam squares. But I mentioned to you that the city of Chicago is in the background here. So I wanted to show you how I'm going to highlight that. Now I'm using the very old Creative Memories double circle punch. And I'm using white again because it'll stand out there. But I'm going to punch the smallest circle first. And I'm just hoping this punch still works. I've had some problems with it. So I punched my smallest circle first. But then I'm going to go back and I'm going to line this up inside the hole for the larger circle. I'm just going to kind of center that. And then punch it if I can get it punched. All right. And I made myself a little ring. So what I'll do is just add that in here and use repositionable tape to stick that. And then I'll know that there was something out there we were looking at, and it was the Chicago skyline. So there's my completed layout. I hope you enjoy these travel papers, and I'll look forward to using more of them in some of our other adventures. Until next time, happy scrapping.